Omen he was pulling out. Right now, Koi just looking for a little bit of early aggression, but it's actually a north side arcade pinch. Looked like Koi, after only finding the Cypher, thought the hit was going to go over towards A, and now they're caught slightly out of position, all playing over towards CT, try and fight out of these smokes.
Yeah, heavy blitz on the way through, and you can just see Koi paying that respect as well, backing out. But there's still a little bit conscious, potentially a plant coming on the A side here. You can still see the Sky hanging out that way, but surely the call comes in here that everyone is hard hitting their way through. Plants going down, still watching out for the flank, but now Koi have got to battle their way back into the site. They just conceded control of. Perfectly timed TP out as well.
A couple of kills being traded back as Heretics find a few. Benji Fishy showing up in the first round. He is silent and a killer. We're not even seeing him on the screen as he finds 2.
Just keeping himself busy for sure, but Heretics come out fighting in that first round. A real uppercut towards Koi, who, again, I think played the right move there as well, conceding side control, not wanting to stick it in the numbers disadvantage, but...
I'll translate 2 in my first round.
First round, 2? That's a record, surely? We were saying, it's really funny, you look at the names on the teams, right? You have like players like Wolfen, Starkso, Benji Fishy.
Benji Fishy.
Benji Fishy.
That doesn't tell you he came from Fortnite. I don't know what does.
The kids
but that aim
that.
right there, nicely done. He's able to finish off that second kill through the smoke. This actually gives us a little bit of time, I think, to talk about the 2 different comps, because primarily one of the things is the double smokes from Team Heretics. You just saw some of the value the Omen can give. It is terribly difficult to actually find a plant on Fracture, especially over on that B site. You're often just getting blasted by Breach utility on the other side, so having the TP to escape from a position where usually if you plant back slant, you're almost always getting killed. Makes it a little bit nicer to play the post more on site over towards tower as well. But also with these 2 comps and the Cypher coming online, you're going to see a lot of play around the camera placement. Right now, it is just Wolfen playing solo over towards B with the camera on arcade, spot out lurk, spot out hits, and set up for the shorty gaming up above rope. But later on, you'll see that camera used in A main primarily for a lot of power of scouting and retake ability.
They know at least one's up in tower here at the back of the Sky Flash coming on in. But the dumpy utility coming in towards site surely says to Koi something is going down. You can see a real, I love this by the way, just holding up and camping. But pushed in on the backside as well, almost finds Kellogg's who gets the kill first. But look on the backside, 3 players of Koi are coming in Ender here, rotating their way back through spawn, but Abova's here to greet them. Flash comes through, but he don't miss those, finds himself 1, looking in for the next 2 as well. Abova finds 2, makes it 3 as well. Easy round for Heretics there. Koi with a nice little bit of play coming out towards the end, but not enough to upset the superior guns of Heretics.
Yeah, you know, we see the shorty gaming from time to time, and it'll always find you one, it seems like. You know, now we get to see the full power unleashed. It is worth pointing out, I think, that with the lack of Killjoy, with the lack of Breach from the side of Heretics, there's maybe a little bit less you can do in terms of setting up trap plays once it switches over to the opposite side of things. But they can still look to get very aggressive here on attack, especially with Abova. There's a lot of options to teleport into sight. That Paranoia, really effective tool at hitting both above and below on that A side. If you want to take it from Dish, that's where I think a lot of Omen comps can thrive, is attacking more towards the north side of the map and using the teleport to use the verticality and the gap close.
Well, here you've got Benji all by himself on the south side, while the rest of the team largely working their way in from the north. So this is a small change of play here, change of tack.
Yeah, I think get used to it a little bit with this Cypher. In a similar way to that Killjoy, you are going to play usually 4-1. We're using the trip to guard one of the exits, maybe the camera to spot out early aggression. I think that's where a lot of the value of that Cypher cam can come in on attack.
Well, they had Dog coming in through spawn, so the Sky knows at least that up to spawn is clear and wants to try and push a way forward. So Benji's got to be mindful of that, but has a little bit of a backup in himself with the tripwire. All of them rotating underneath here, grouping up once again for a very heavy push together.
Because they know that camera spots above their Viper wall, so they actually just broke it there, went and played for the orb. Kills traded out, and Kellogg's has ultimate. This is a very winnable round now for Heretics.
Sure enough, they're going to force sight here, commanding respect from the side of Koi. Showstopper not needing to be fired just to command space, but they've done just that. Out it comes. A freebie and finds 2 for the price of 1 himself on the back end of it, but it's still 2 falling down. Site control once again conceded, and Heretics have got what they need. Maybe not, actually, as Trex. There's a little bit of damage. Abova comes in with the trade. Coldham enter into another. Abova's got it all to do. He found 3 at the end of last round, but he's already so low here.
Spike planted.
Has that teleport to work with, though. Sky Flash actually does clear him in heaven, gives the sound out.
Wasn't worried about a cool enter off towards the side, but on the gun round, Koi are back into things now. we've got a game in our hands.
Yes, we do. That Razor was the ultimate bargain bin. You're like, oh, it's a buy one for the price of two, right? Oh wait, no, it actually backfired. Yeah, that's the reason it was in the bin in the first place. Of course, it got taken low from showdown, so it makes sense it gets traded out there. But I actually love the idea. Trek sort of playing on top of Generator there, hiding inside the enemy Omen smoke that was thrown on that angle. If you want to have full coverage, you do need 3 smokes, or in this case, the Viper Wall plus that high smoke from the Omen. But once it timed out with the mollies over by main, stalling out that side hit, Trex was in a perfect position, sort of look down from above, find a couple of cheesy kills.
Keep an eye on Mentor across the next couple of rounds. His ult's not too far away from being online, and we know, again, that's a massive space creator for them. Trex also not too far away. Does mean Koi should have the ability to deter, or at the very least slow down, a very pacey Heretics push that we've seen in all 3 rounds so far.
They're looking for some late aggression, but they should have heard that camera being tapped into. Still just holding that breach stun off of the contact, and they find the one. That's absolutely perfect. That forces Heretics to accelerate on the south side. They've already opened up the door into sand. Yeah,
I mean, they're pushed deeper in towards Dish here, which means Sight is slightly exposed. Vova's going to find a freebie, and that is Sight completely clear. They're in a spot here to get the spike down. Clearly not fully aware of that themselves, but Koi are starting to swarm back in.
Mixwell's so important here on the flank. The retake ult is coming in as Mixwell finds one, but Trex is already onto Sight.
That's it. Now look out towards the scars come through. They managed to get in a spot where that spike is down on Sight. Not yet planted, so it's a lot of work for Heretics to do.
Mixwell just trying to provide some cover there, dropping down smokes, working together with Avova to give that coverage. Now A main has been opened, though, so there's nowhere comfortable to play on site for Heretics. Planting back behind Pillar. It's just that first angle on stairs they got to deal with.
Mixwell's going to be the big factor here as well. If he can just give a little bit of relief to the 2 players on site, this could be huge. Sees one of the ropes as well, but not going to find him first. Wolfen connects, and now things are looking dire for Heretics. Outside of a hero play, Avova, he manages to get a trade, brings it down to a 1v1. Wolfen's just snaking his way around and finds it out. It's a big 3K for Avova 3 rounds after his previous 3K.
Avova off to a fantastic start here on Fracture. That's a way to kick it off with the comp change back on that signature Omen.
8-1, by the way.
Just dancing on him a little bit, isn't he?
And he just.
And it opens up right in a 4 versus 5, but Avova takes that chance, opening up door. See the player on site there, wasn't expecting anyone to go through it, but was able to find it. So desperately needed, and then fighting back into main, knowing that as soon as that neural theft is popped from the enemy Cypher, you gotta go.
Benji's already got the passion built up. It's funny, I was speaking to Neil, the coach, actually, yesterday, and asking, you know, why Benji talks about why you got this guy on side. And he said, oh, look, the stage experience is one thing. Like, he's going to come in, there's no nerves to really shake him off. But if nothing else, it's how coachable he is. He's like a dream teammate to have, apparently. Spends extra hours putting practice in, turns up to every single strat session. The guy's an absolute beast. And honestly, he was like, trust me, the world will see how special this kid is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for like tryouts, they ran an actual battle royale. And he just came out on top. They did it in the gaming house.
And then tested the dancing abilities as well.
Yeah, that was definitely tested. That was how you...
I've heard it was the #1 criteria.
Yeah, it's like in Hunger Games, right? You have to get the sponsors, you know?
Yeah.
So it's all about the dancing ability to get you the extra buffs.
They'd also say they've been watching him since January, so it wasn't like it was a flip decision in the last minute. They've really been working on this pick to make sure it was going to be the right one for them. Now, once again, Heretics have made a real thing this half of grouping up as a unit and pushing in with numbers overwhelmingly, especially from the north side as well. Yeah. We saw one transition over, but now the Seekers are coming out. They see everything on the camera, and that's going to mean everyone scatters from the west side of the map over to the east, but they're not going to be able to stop this onslaught of red just flooding the site.
Poor dude's just sitting on site with a sheriff. He's blinded from one side, getting dove on by the other. It is not a fun situation to be in whatsoever, especially when the door opens and there's 2 Vandals just staring you down there.
Yeah, they're just ready and waiting. There's what, a crossfire of 2-3 players here holding down onto the top of rope, which is going to force them in towards main. And at this point, I'm sure there's a read coming in. Avova's ready. Out comes the dark cover as well, just to say, nope, also can't push in there. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Push through the smoke or go back towards rope where you have at least 2 players watching you. It's not a fun time to be a Koi player.
In Valorant 2, it's not just a rock and a hard place. It's also like poison on the floor, birds that are flashing you, you know, just absolutely
everything that wants to kill you.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, you think birds are fine, and then all of a sudden you're in an Alfred Hitchcock film. They're just coming straight for your eyeballs.
Jesus.
It is not fun.
Dark.
It's only dark if you know the movie.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Bit of an old one, that one. Bit of an old one.
To get back to the gameplay a little bit, this dish aggression, I think is something you're going to see. I think when you're playing these double dive comps, and usually you think about dive, that's like a raise a jet, but Omen can function like that with his teleport, getting into a site very quickly. I think they're very well suited to this north side aggression, whether it's teleporting across fire lines over an arcade or getting onto that top of that A site. It can be very effective. The Cypher too doesn't have to be around his utility like a Killjoy, so they're more allowed to group up as 5 players, although you will still often see Benji going for that solo walk up into dish.
And again, another cam's going to tag out here, push through. They see it, sees the leg, and that's all he needs to know. A little bit of leg, and it's going to lead straight into an ult. And they burn through Mixwell on his push in. Great first find.
I think that was a stun off of Starzo's dog as well. You don't just insta-snap the ulti coming on through there, so a little bit of a trap play setup, and now the ultimate straight into sight.
Stick this as well. I think he's going to at this point as well. Immediately off the back of it as well. The paranoia comes across, but clearly didn't find Wolford at first. Finds one for himself. They flood on towards the site, and Stark, so finally on the board, had nothing to his name coming into this round, but has done a lot of work here to make sure Koi come out on top. Kellogg's all by himself. Trex with the close. Koi find their second of the half.
Yeah, the adrenaline may be pumping a little there for Benji. Shot's not quite getting in there.
He looks like he's played the whole series at this point. The dude's red in the face. He's like, yeah, come on!
The roller coaster of emotions after opening it up and having the highs and the lows. You gotta find yourself quickly in all of that, though. And yeah, I think that was a stun that came in on the end.
It was great, just a great little read as well, because they knew that it was either push forward and you're fully exposed and you're getting swung on, or run back, but you're having to run straight through the ult and you are barbecue as soon as you try and make that happen.
It's always nice too, because of course the main comp switch up for Koi would have been to go off of the fade onto the sky, so you'd think less like actual util combo ability, because the fade sees is just so powerful, but you can never underestimate the ability of that dog, especially because I think the ult came out a little bit before it even tagged, so no one was going to turn around and shoot that dog. It was always going to get the bite off.
It's like a slower start to this round coming out from the side of Heretics, but slowly working their way up towards pushing on the south side. But look at the stack on the other side of this smoke. They're ready.
It's about to get real spicy. This dog runs into the site for this went up rope, so looking for a fight down there. That's on Trex. Trex finds the first one as they push out through the smoke. A little bit of insanity, and through all of it, Mixwell lurked into arcade, got up onto site through tower.
I think that was so close there. You'd have lost the Viper and the Viper's Pit in one stroke, but managed to keep himself on side. Seeker's coming out on top as well. For Heretics, they're starting to get in, but Mixwell's gone down. Viper's Pit's offline. This is a good ender.
Yeah, looks like Kellogg's has to find this fight on the south side. No Starzo is in the area off the ult that came through.
Flash comes through. They know that he's here as well. Pretty much a guaranteed direct 1v1 to come through, though. Comes out in the swing, but we're still in the animation again, and it's gone out. Tagged down as a result now. Bova's got to do it again. His third 3K of the game is calling.
Shadows
Gotta go fast. Gotta go real fast, my friend. Spray comes through, but Stark, so with the pre-fire, was just ready. Koi up, another one here to bring it up to 3.
Yeah, Koi continuing to look for this sort of delayed aggression. We saw a similar look up towards Dish earlier that wasn't super effective, but this one, walking out with the dog through A main. 2 players ready to push out of that smoke, right? Because you think if you get delayed contact out of the A main push, all of those Heretics players, they're trying to turn around and look back towards their spawn. Then the 2 players in the stair smoke pop out. So a really cool idea to try and find that little pinch maneuver. Ends up working really nicely at the start for them.
I mean, Heretics had that real, hit and run pace essentially at the very start of the game, just forcing Koi off site before they could respond. And even that round there, we started with 2 up on the north side. One was looking towards A south. You had 2 pushing in B main. It was like they're basically trying to do 3 things at once here. And it took them 20 seconds or so to really consolidate. And that's when we saw the action come out from the other side. So they got what they wanted, which was aggression from Koi. They just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, I think in this timeout for Heretics, they're going, okay, a few rounds now between sort of 130 and 120 is when those actual pushes are happening. We're even setting up a trap play towards Dish. So be ready for that. And maybe our Cypher scouting util needs to be a little bit better, because right now, I believe they're putting 1 trip and 1 camera on the same side of the map. But that round, A main was pretty wide open. It was Cypher north side, and there was 4 players all outside stairs, no one really watching that flank. It was the Cypher that was supposed to come back across the rope that was going to be their protection. But obviously you can't reliably do that, because if what just happened happens, you're going to get punished very repeatedly. So sort of tightening up their early round scouting, whether that means, committing a sky flash on the strong side of the map towards the, the A main you're not going to be hitting, or or something like that could be the approach. Although right now, all sort of scouting util is going to be north side, except they were able to put that trip to watch any B main aggression.
Doing the same again here. Look, 3 angles all being contested. You got 1 pushing through Dish, 2 pushing up towards Arcade, 2 pushing their way up through A main. Just really trying to feel things out. I think, like you say, the scouting game in that first 30 seconds or so is top dog for them. And here, straight away, the push is coming on the north side. We've had the Sky Flash come out towards Ditch. They know that no one's there, and now they've got to make it happen. Showstopper's out! Starkstone cannot get away from that one. Stopped in his tracks. Out comes the hack as well. This one should be a comfortable round coming out for Heretics if they can get away with this execute.
That was wicked from Kellogg, just putting the team on his back in that round. How does the retake come through, though? Shadows has just about full util, no Aftershock, but it's Coldamenta fighting into main that's going to be so important. I think calling Shadows into this is going to be their best way of battling back.
Oh, great flash sync as well coming out. Coldamenta on the swing off the back of the breach flash. Beautiful little bit of team play coming out from Koi, but if Over's here and waiting, almost gets Shados, but not enough to put him down.
Through all of this, Benji was able to find a kill. There's also a late reflank coming in from Boo. Took the zipline from north side down here. Benji goes to the swing. Benji finds the 5th for Team Heretics.
He's loving it. He is lapping it up down there. Every single time there's a killer around, he's absolutely loving life.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of players come in on their debuts, and it's not like a massive like flashbang continues forevermore. Like, he started strong, been a bit quiet for a few rounds, but it's really warmed up.
I love how Kellogg's there just uses the enemy boombot to open door. He's ready for that raise, knows the pattern, and just dumpsters on him. Has the ult coming out after. That was truly...
He's on his first game and he's always like, yeah, and what? Where are you? Where are you?
He's talking big. He knows how to play.
He was truly formed.
He's an entertainer, okay? You got to give him the respect.
Truly formed in the flames of British esports is the way I'll summarize it. Now, Trex there tried to go pretty big at the start. As you saw the double hop through to try and get aggressive on towards spawn, but Heretics, they heard those blast pats going off. They knew what was coming. They dealt with it well.
Trying to find this regress. This will be big if they can hold on to dish control. Mixwell isn't able to find it, so now 2 players sort of peering down on you as you have to get the spike out of main. Paint Shell's called in, but Wolfen does get a timing on it, not looking to take the fight too early.
Planted.
So the rest of the team's still rotating in.
Clearly skipped the tripwire that's on site so far as well, have very much worked their way around it, but spike is down, and Koi once again have got to fight their way in.
Alex finds the first.
Sky Flash came in as well at a great time for the swing to come out. There's still one more there that I don't think they're fully aware of. Wolfen will find one, and that's a little bit of a stab in the back, but 2 more quick kills come through. Benji and Avova doubling up to close out the round. What I do love about Heretics, they've done such a good job of restricting mid every time the spike's down. Whether it's smokes, whether it's players, whether it's flashes, they are denying any kind of mid play from Koi.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kellogg's can be kind of a ballistic player at some times. Like, he just wants to, like, push. Sometimes gets caught, but he's always going to threaten you. There, though, I think he hears the Sky Dog. So he's anticipating, with a lot of pressure up towards Dish, hey, maybe there's only actually the Sky +1 here. I can take that fight. I can isolate those ones. That's why he goes to the push, finds his, and then some.
Time for a Koi, so I imagine here, as they have got some things to think about for themselves. They started to battle the way back in around rounds 4 and 5, but since then it has just started to feel like Heretics have really found their form again and are starting to pull ahead. 6-3 up, only 3 rounds still to play. It's far from over, it's far from a one-sided affair, but Koi can feel that this game is pretty much stacked against them right now.
Yeah, you know, it feels like Koi have been getting picked off a lot in the early rounds, right? First it was 2 rounds ago when Trex died with the alarm bot through the door. Then last round was looking for an early sort of embed play where he double satchels on top of the box, is trying to look over the smoke. He just gets spammed straight on through that. So sort of revamping the defensive approach might be the right idea for Koi here. Thinking maybe not the early explosive play, although they do have the Brim ult. So if they wanted to default back into sort of playing around either the Breach stun or the Sky Dog stun and looking to catch out with Coldamenta's ult, that could be a good plan for them here. But whatever it is, they need to be getting Trex in better positions to be able to fight, because he's been fairly isolated, I think, in these openers.
Blinded.
Things do feel at least a little bit different to last time they played. I mean, Koi picked this map last time, let's not forget. They were the ones that started on the attack inside, so it has been a change in stance from Heretics to pick attack on the start for themselves. They had pretty good success, actually, winning 4 in a row in the second half, and then the next 4, they did get the spike down, but just couldn't quite convert the round. So we know they're good on the attack inside. Defense is going to be the difference maker.
Yeah, they're zooming on in here. They have the read off the Sky Flash and A main. The B is going to be soft. There's a judge up in heaven. Dog did scout that out, so here comes the pinch. if it comes at all. Heretics taking their time as he just drops straight on down. 2 players waiting for him, though. And it's all down to this double flank from Starkzo and Trex to turn it back in Koi's favor.
Lost the coin flip there, looked the wrong way. Could have been left or right. He chose left, and turns out it was wrong. They've got the site control, not yet. Oh, commit into the spike plant.
They don't want to plant because there's still a Brimble. If you plant and slant here, you are literally cooked.
And just run. It's going to have to be the answer from it. Still, here we go on this one going down with Trex being picked off there. They're not going to commit towards an ult here. Now it's trying to see what they can do. Starkzo finds one for himself. All comes out on top. Suddenly, Koi start flipping their fortunes, but it's still a 3v3.
Yeah, the roast sky for dinner there. Here we go. Benji Fishy flashed, has to fall back just a little bit. Both players towards tower. Pretty easy to isolate now for Koi. Another flash to fight on in.
Flash. Can they swing in and find kills? No, Mixwell's there to respond as well. The only player that wasn't flash goes big. Benji finds one. They pick one up for themselves all the way through. Heretics once again on the win off the back of a Koi timeout.
Koi were so spooked there was going to be some kind of other late reflank, something like this after Avova went for the underpass. But, but all 3 players were holding hands. It was a cute little family scene up in tower after they cleared it out from the judge. And I gotta respect it. Avova, I think, actually calling there not to go for the plant, because you notice the plant only went down the second he got that kill. That's when they committed the plant. He wanted all the time in the world to find that push down underpass.
I love those coach side by sides because you just see the disparity of man.
Yeah.
One being like, what just happened? The one being like, yeah!
Meanwhile, the coaches, use their timeouts. So like, we can't say anything else. We're just gonna keep screaming.
And then you watch Vinny, and his face never changes whether they win or lose.
Yeah.
Like the most neutral guy in the world.
Spike down.
A general air of disappointment. I feel that everything's not 100% perfect.
Even when he's happy, it's pretty chill.
Oh, the spike is in a bad
They are
spot.
trying. Oh.
Koi are sending it, though. Oh, my word. You guys have the spike, but they're still going ham. Shadows finds the kill.
I love it. They had the deep smoke against them, put one down themselves towards spawn side, and used that to push through the first smoke to actually aggress on the back of the showstopper. Really good aggression from Koi, and it's a great response to the aggression we keep on seeing coming out of Heretics.
A whole lot of time to work with. Here's Kellogg's fights back a little bit.
Jesus, honestly. This is a battlefield, and right now, Koi are coming out on top.
Didn't we nerf how many bullets are in the guns? I know we couldn't spam these quite as hard anymore. Watch spawn, though. It's a Viper. It's a Mixwell looking to find the lurk, but there was already a trip placed. Wolfen is so aware of what may end up happening, although looks like he just jumped over that thing.
He's got away with it.
30 seconds
I mean, I'm surely he can't get away with this, but they've got to do something. They're sat on the spike, all 3 of them, and somehow Avova and Mixwell have got to make this push work. It's going to have to be a joint swing coming out here, though, as well. It could go wonderfully, or it could go tragically.
Yeah, he has to open the door. He has to tell him he's coming on in there. They're pushing on forward. Shadows finds his 3rd with the Spectre.
Beautiful.
And it all falls apart there. Koi secure the round after just obliterating A main. They had a bit of a half funky, funky chowder buy going on, and they just full on sent it and never let go of the spike.
I just thought, again, the aggression they brought on top of the smoke, they saw the first one go down, we're like, right, no, we're not giving you that ground. And immediately here, with the contest, in fact, basically exactly the same time, maybe they heard the smoke coming out from the oven and instantly responded, but it was really good on their side to, again, match the aggression we've seen coming out of Heretics. And now, look, the disparity of coaches.
The little eyebrow raise there, you gotta love to see it.
He's like, cheeky boys, I like it.
Absolutely. All right, checking in the last round. You haven't talked too much about the ults this half. Boo has his, but Kellogg's and Shadows are one off. Those are the big ones here, especially on attack. So I'm expecting to see Kellogg's pick this one up here. As he does, just a little bit of protection from Benji from behind. Benji also has Spike, so potentially if he's able to find a body after planting that, he can get that online for some late round info.
Here we go as well. Showstopper out on top as well. Comes out with that one. Doesn't even find a target. That is not ideal for Kellogg's. Still, 1 for 1. In fact, 2 quick kills coming back the other way. Down to a 4v3 for Koi, and Tower's where it's at. Benji loves being in this spot. Another big 2K for himself. Now on the march on forts, and they get the pings onto these last 2 players. A right time swing here could very much end the round.
Yeah, Smoke will block this off, but Sarso still has plenty of scouting options available. Finally, Avo was able to get back with the team. He gets ult. He has the spike now. He could potentially move over to the A site, and I think Kolda is kind of reading that. Kolda's already gone for the rotation over to that area.
They're all going. I mean, both of them by the looks are trying to step away.
I think it's a fake ult. It's a fake ult into a B plant again.
No.
No, he commits it. Oh yeah, see, he's gonna come back.
Bit of a scout. And now they're gonna go for it as well. At this point, they've got to hang around mid because they don't have any idea on exactly where the commit is.
Left.
Starkzo could be the hero in this round, though. He's got to step forward and get a couple of big kills.
Avova's got to be close to having a second flash. Yeah, 5 seconds back on that one. So 2 flashes sort of locks these players into main. Although he goes for the spike plant, or the site smoke. That's the one. Now he goes to the spike plant. He's doing it all. Very impressive.
I won't find the cross, but just in case TP's out safely. Right, 2 players hold up inside a tower. What can they do at the back of this one?
Oh, that's the last smoke used too. Nothing to guard
Flashes,
off tower.
they've got 2 flashes to play with.
Just
though,
a molly and a bird.
And the bird might just be enough here to give them what they need, but got to try and find the man. They know that he's there, he hasn't rotated away. But it's the fear of what if he steps out and goes to the spray? There's no molly left here. There we go. Starkzo finding his man. Koi, not actually a bad half, given the pace at which it started. And again, the last time these 2 teams played, it was a very attacker-leaning map. This has been a really good half for Koi, and I'd be a little bit nervous if I was Heretics, admittedly.
7-5. No one's feeling comfortable.
No.
Look, we're in the knockout stage. We're in uncharted territory. These teams haven't played in 2 months. And yeah, they are absolutely here with a lot of pressure on their back. It doesn't look like it if your name is Benji Fishy, though. This guy out to a really good start. First time on the main stage VCT here, but already slotting in very nicely to the rest of Heretics and playing with the crowd, too. You love to see it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't imagine that it's all the players, really. It's a little bit of readjustment at the start of this game, which is why I don't think you can put too much on the back of Koi for the slower start they had. It has been a couple of months since they've sat here in front of a crowd in a different environment to play in compared to what they're used to. But you have seen both teams now really get back to that old form, it feels.
I think you saw a little bit of the old form of Ova Omen, too, early in the half especially.
He was 8-1 at one point, yeah, flying.
Had a couple of fantastic rounds. I think now, though, the challenge is with Koi moving over to the attacking side. You know, there's some, quirks with running the double smoke composition here from Team Heretics. One is no breach, right? So right off the rip, sort of, snap plays are going to be a little bit tougher because that breach concuss is so powerful in areas, especially like outside of A main, for example, or up towards Dish. Very, very powerful thing. But at the same time, they do have the double smokes. That means almost permanent stall. They can cycle out those smokes very, very nicely. So it means that a lot of the time, you might not be as successful sort of waiting out those abilities. You're going to have to go through smokes at times if you are Koi on the attack and committing to those plays.
Obviously, you can't ignore the other side does have hold of the Brim, who himself brings a fair few smokes along. Some of the longest lasting in the game, I believe.
I'm sorry,
as well, right?
Has it always said halftime heart? Like, am
Where?
in the bottom left corner? Is that new? I swear that has to be new. The greater than 3? Or
I mean, yeah, but it
less
really
than
bothers
3?
me that the less than is so much lower down than the 3, so it's not dead center.
Yeah, it's a weird little carrot situation.
I've never seen it, so I think you might be right. Maybe production confirmed that's a new thing.
Why?
Do
we love halftimes?
That much, yeah. Everyone loves a halftime. Get a drink. The hydration break.
That's
I mean,
true.
you've got a bottle of water in your hands.
I do. That's very true.
Exactly. So you know that's what it's for.
This halftime brought to you by water.
That's halftime and self-care, self-love. Hydrate.
That's true. That's true. Get a little stretch in. Get a little snack on. Whatever you need. Keep yourself going here.
One thing I did notice about Heretics was it feels like a lot of their ults aren't exactly these big power ults, right? Whereas you look at, looking towards the Raze, really that's the one
Very true.
It's the one big impact ult they've got, which is why I think you've seen that pace throughout most of that first half is we haven't got big ults to play off at the back of the Raze. We're going to have to just force this through straight up gunplay and pace and utility more than anything else.
No breach ult, no killjoy. You have the Cypher in that slot instead. You have the Omen instead of the Brim. Yeah, I think you're 100%
hard
right.
to use on the attacking side.
Yeah. You definitely don't have those explosive sight hitters.
Maybe is why we saw that style of play. But let's see how the second half plays out. And again, you're seeing Koi coming in with their style of a split here as well. But I like, again, the immediate aggression coming in. But look at this coming in behind them as well. The pinch could be horrific here as well. Coulter absolutely slaughters them. Wolfen in for the third. Heretics have crumbled here in round 1.
Look at the smokes they put on site, too. They didn't want to deal with any site players. Pistol plan coming on through for them as Wolfen finds this first one. No, Benji Fishy is going to be taking it. A little bit isolated for now, but still a 2-player advantage off of a really nice play, kicking things off.
Here we go. Benji to be the hero.
He's fishing.
Benji Fishy. He's fishing.
There you go.
Goes fishing pretty well, finds one for himself, but Mixwell's got 3 to find. He is on full HP, treks down to less than half. Doable, but extremely difficult, yes.
It's like some kind of a joke. A fisherman and a bartender walk into the A site. I don't know, and there's 3 players with guns there. Not the punchline I was looking for.
No, the joke gets cut short by the guns.
Bartender, because Mixwell. We did that beforehand. Don't worry about it. Anyways, this is what I want to look at, though. The double smoke. Actually, no. You're just going to see the kills at the end. The setup doesn't matter. Hey, look, it's more exciting to see the crosshair placement, the double headshot onto the brimstone.
More pew-pew for me.
I like it.
Don't know if Heretics do. For Koi, that was very much a taste of what Heretics dealt to them in much of that first half again, with the aggression coming out. And despite Heretics trying for 2 players quite aggressively towards A main, still stung them.
Yeah, Koi playing all 5 on the north side. Again, because you have the Cypher, you quick trips down south. Not worry about the aggression. And when you're rocking, you know,
surely
a pretty heavy round 2 here.
Surely there's a read for Heretics. I mean, they've had the 2 players towards A actually push out quite far to fish and see what's going on. And now the read must come through that this is where the play is coming in. You'll see a couple of the players start to rotate over. Let's not forget, you are against a bunch of guns. It's not going to be a pretty round.
No, especially when you're flashing yourself. Poor Boo. Although it also, hey, it hit for a Vova, so he's able to get that kill with the underpass push. That's the power you get from taking B lobby control early on, is the ability to quickly reflank against the heavy north side setup.
Vova's taking a little bit of an unexpected angle here as well, but Starkso swings on him, styles on him. Kelos gets one back. It's an easy closeout for Koi, and just like that, everything has been drawn square. I said you might start to feel nervous if you are Heretics. This is that time.
All evened up. Need to check in on the ultimates because Kolda was farming them. I believe he was the one planting the spike. That would make sense to me, even though I wasn't specifically tracking it. Because having that on round 3 is real quick. Playing to min-max the orbs early on can be so important. Like, if you can swing this round, especially because they did go for the Bulldogs Vandals buy, like, you're always trying to sort of invest here, carry it on through into the 3rd. Although Heretics are going to fight back north side. You have the Paranoia, which is sort of a quasi-breach stun. It's line control, you know. Big, powerful crowd control ability. Goes out in a similar line to the breach stun. But with just a smoke, they can make it so that if anyone was to go dish, there'd have to be investment. They hear that flash over towards B now, so they're going to rotate off a dish.
Smoke's down.
Is that commitment?
Yeah, potentially they look for a reflank south side after the dog spotting nothing.
And the breach splash was enough just to keep 2 players interested for long enough that they can now hit the site in a 5 versus 2. B site is gone at this point for Heretics, unless we see some real big hero plays coming out. He's in a good
Mixwell! And again, the man goes nuclear! Man's out of his seat! He can't be sat down, someone give him a seatbelt! Arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. This roller coaster is off the chains.
That's a classic curse as well. 5v2, sights lost, the man pops off a 4K.
But it was the position he had, right? Playing right on the outside of that smoke in just an absurd spot, holding dice for the walkout because he has the trip holding his right, dips in and out of that Viper wall. It's the power, I think, of the Viper primarily. When you're playing a little bit more aggressively on defense and you go on opposite sides. If you remember back to how Vipers would play the A site back on Icebox, you're always looking for timings to peek through, get a kill, fall on back. Mixwell has been a guy that has played Viper so long, alongside so many different agents, but has come back to this Viper and just knows how to dance around that util.
Here we go on the march underneath as well. Rather than going for the direct push you've seen in quite a few of these rounds, instead working their way up towards top side. May well back away afterwards, but for now, they have no idea this is coming.
Yeah, someone put that dog on a leash. It's just going on a walkabout here. Out of control. Doesn't spot these players going into arcade, although as soon as you hear the boom bot, that is a big indication there's at least a breach, maybe a sky behind it. Ray's never really going off on her lonesome here on Fracture.
Oh, this could be timing. They're all around the corner looking the right way. Can't even find one, unfortunately. Trex takes half HP, but he's not going to be too worried about that one. Now comes the full-on charge out towards A.
Yeah, I think that's why they showed the boom bot. They were looking for a little rewrap, a little false information put towards B main. Now, of course, with those Seekers, they're going to realize the A site's open. Just the player of Boba they can look to trap in A main. Do they have double satchels? They do. Satchels into A main. They want to punish the Omen, and they do. Trex finds everyone. 3 kills before he drops, and Koi just terminate the round.
Who cares about a smoke when you can just power your way through? Ray's making so much space for them, drawing so much attention, but the util dump was just far too much for Heretics to respond to. And I said earlier on, you'll start to feel worried at this point if you're Heretic. Sure, Mixwell had a big clutch, but outside of that, it's looking all things up for the side of Koi.
Yeah, right after showing that boom bot, they're instantly running back towards Dish. And wow, Trex following those Seekers straight on in. There's nothing better, I think, playing Rays when you have Seekers or like fade blood trails on the ground. Anything just tell you exactly where to path with those satchels. Here we go though, Heretics, they have an op in the hands of Kellogg's.
Fire in the hole!
And they're gonna run!
They're loving this satchel, push it towards site, and once again, space has been made, everyone scatters, and no one's here. which really is going to be enough indication for Koi that, okay, site feels relatively safer now. Smokes are down. They've covered everything off. This is going as well as it could possibly do for Koi.
And they can hold post plant for a long time. Brimble, mollies, paint shells, everything. They've got it. Trex continuing to step on forward. Now, the spike was canceled. The plant didn't go through, but they have the Cypher to reclaim. And now having to invest the ultimates, they don't just get spammed out on the opposite side. All that post-plant util is now being spent just to fight back against Heretics, who are finding ways back into this site.
Just one at a time, one at a time. Finally, the spike does go down, so now the pressure flips onto the other side. Heretics in a much better position here than what Koi arguably were on their previous retakes of this site. Again, think about the aggression we saw in towards mid with the util stacking. But here it's on the south side. It's an absolute demolition. keloqz still with the op in hand is hoping to find anything, but no one's giving him a time at the time of day.
It's all on Abova here. Find something. Sees Wolf in the corner, gets it. Can't quite turn around for the other, and now it's just the operator against the world. No time.
Finds one for himself, but still must know that there's one more here. Knows that he simply has not got time. Gonna have to let this one tick out, and understandably, would rather save the op in this round.
Wow. Heretics had the numbers advantage going for that retake, but the flash through the Viper, smoke in A main. Just crazy how the players got completely wrapped, tangled around one another. That really defined the round, because Heretics were in the right position. All the util was spent, but here, popping straight on out as both players turn around. There's no one to watch the other side of that Viper smoke.
You touched on it in the round as well when you had Trex going deep in towards Dish, right, getting aggressive. It's one thing I've noticed about Koi is when they take sight, that's not enough. They don't kind of plant feet, hold and wait. They keep on going to push aggressive, get cheeky through smoke. You saw it in towards main as well, right? They always want to get up in your face and make sure there's no moment of comfort for those trying to retake sites.
I think you have a moment there where Trex realizes he's going blitzing into the site with the Raze ult. Everyone retreated. There's only really two places to retreat. You're either going Dish or you're going back into spawn. So it's very likely he's only finding one player there. That's a very calculated risk. And yeah, pushing through smoke can sometimes be absurd. Sometimes you're going to get punished by it. But he in his mind is going, okay, can we just hold out the 5v5 post plant? Maybe that's a little bit tough if we let them back in easily and only have control of main. If I can get control of Dish, even though this is a little bit of a risky play, we're going to win in this post plant almost every single time. That's what he's thinking. And by knowing that there's only going to be one, very low chance there might be two players there, he's able to find that moment where he gets the round in his team's favor.
All right, big couple of rounds coming up for Heretics. We spoke about the lack of these big power ultimates on side, right? But at the very least, we've seen it come out once. Mixwell has got the Viper's Pit. That can really shut down some of that aggression coming out from the side of Koi. But given the pace they've come at, I don't even know you have a chance to really deploy it more flexibly. You might have to just drop it at round start.
Yeah, what I'd say is that Heretics, what they do have is two really good information ults. So if they are able to find a pick or two with the Op or with the Sheriff, that's where those ults in a retake situation become very, very powerful. They can isolate angles, force players into maybe one choke, perhaps, back into A main or something, and then use what utility they have to fight that attrition battle to get a fuse off.
Here we go, the Viper's Pit comes out, actually used quite adaptively here as well to straight on side, but Trex is on top in one of the only few places that's actually safe, and even through the paranoia manages to get himself a kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. It's all raining on through for the side of Koi. There was a lot committed in this round as well from Heretics, and it feels that this may have just really buried them for a round or two.
Yeah, they came flooding out through the smokes. No one was in Mixwell's ult. He's like, how's my team dying when they're above me on site, they're outside of my ult? The way Koi pathed on in there didn't really give Mixwell much of an option other than just to run out himself. So looks like it should just be another round with the op is saved, but Koi already have the read. Look down at B main, trying to find the wraparound, using a flash just for scouting. It doesn't matter if Sarzo reveals his position. The money is good enough for Koi. They want that op out of the equation, and they're not going to quite get it just yet.
keloqz got a little bit of time to shine if he can find himself one or two more. He might have the breach coming up behind as well, but Wolfen's a little bit too close for comfort. Koi really starting to pull ahead here because Heretics starting to look a little broke. They lose this round, I think they're buried until game end.
Yeah, I think it depends if they're going heavies or light armors into this one. And at this point, when these rounds are getting very, very close down towards the end, you need just about as many buys as you can get, especially if Koi continue to get these wins going for themselves. So yeah, will be light armors on many players, although as you say, it is going to be a little bit tough. Avova best suited into the next, but they've got the ultimates this time for a retake. Seekers to give info for keloqz to get back onto site, and honestly, no op in question makes it a little bit easier to look for aggressive plays. All this time around, it is a very early Sky Dog up out towards Dish, and Koi just blitzing into sight. They already have tower.
That's it, Molly's in, smoke's coming out, everything they need to really make their march forward work. Wolford's in, all comes out on top of it as well. Dream start for the side of Koi, Showstopper comes in over the top. Not going to find the man. But Heretics really trying all they can to push back in. Seekers also came out on top of that one as well. But look at this, Shados is ready and waiting with that rolling thunder to come rolling across, and sure enough, there it is. Catches out 3 players, finds one for himself, but can't quite find the last. It's a 2v3 for the side of Heretics.
Not unwinnable. Kelox is very low, but Boo has a couple of flashes here. Gives the heal over to Kelox. They're not even going for the flashes. They just want to find some kind of a fight. Real nice end early. The triple swing around the corner, and Starzo carves out 3 on the round.
Koi truly fully in control. And I said off the back of that last round, they lose this one, they're pretty much broken till game end. It's definitely going to feel that way here. This is going to be rough.
It just felt like the util was out of order for Heretics on the retake, right? The Sky ult is coming in the Raze ult comes in really early, then the Sky ult, when there's nothing really to follow up behind it. They can't get back out into sight. The Raze ult missed, as a matter of fact, because they were looking just to, you know, snipe off a kill as opposed to actually diving in. And then Shadoff with his ult in the post plant, just absolutely unbeatable. Heretics need to come up with something better, and that better thing is just a Bulldog in the hands of the Vova. Koi are very likely making it to 12 here, and Heretics don't have ults, won't have power ults, they won't have the Raze, probably for the rest of this game, even if they start to win out.
No, it's a real tough battle back at this point, and again, it just feels a little bit limp in the ult department overall. Here we go with that pressure we keep on speaking about. Wow. Literally flying in from above. It's Trex, it's not quite Superman, but it is the Grim Reaper. Once more, Heretics being absolutely slaughtered here. 3 are down, site control conceded. We're going up towards match point.
Koi's adaptation to attacking this B site after the round where Mixwell just, you know, hunted them around his own Viper wall has been really nice. They've realized tower's been left pretty unguarded. Mixwell's like to play directly on site on B, so they are just flying into the site at supersonic speeds, knowing there's no early fight going up against them. The Heretics are fully entrenched, and they are not concerned whatsoever. Heretics' best hope now, a glass cannon operator in the hands of Kelox, but he had that for 2, maybe 3 rounds this half, and it didn't really get them anything.
Extremely dominant on the attacking half, as they were last time these two teams played in this map, let's not forget. 9-3 was the score after the first half with Koi on the attacking side, and here it's looking to be even one better, potentially going.
Rex both with ultimates here. If they don't have to use them in the plant, the post plant, the retake, just not gonna happen. Heretics have to get out in front of it. But they played B site so passively, so on site, now playing off as a matter of fact.
Here we go.
Oh no, Trex has the read!
Finds his man as well, Boo down below. That's all they need though, that one entry's enough to give them site control once again. Heretics, they struggle to win these retakes as we've seen all half long.
We'll give it to Benji Fishy. Has that north side flank coming, but he is zooming in. Starkso hurt him. Has to win
it. Left. Starkso has been on fire, but it's Wolfen. Even cancels out the opportunity for that 1v1 and gets the close down. Koi, they are absolutely demolishing Heretics here. They'll take the first map, 13-8.
Koi's attack looking nigh unstoppable. From the pistol round, crunching down into A main, to those B hits over and over again. Trex was just on a rampage, round after round, topping the leaderboards for a 13-8 finish. That was 7-5 going into the half, only allowing the 1 over. And all of a sudden, it mirrors almost exactly that matchup they had back in the regular season.
Just one of those where they came out looking like a bit of a different beast today as well, and I'm not